We're now going to answer this question. So it says the perimeter fencing for a rectangular paddock is represented by this. If the paddock has a width of 200 meters and the length of twice the width, what would the perimeter be? Okay, so what I would do here is I would just draw what they've given to me. So that means I'm going to end up with, all right, so they've told me that the width is 200. Okay, so the width is 200. And then they've told me that the length is twice the width. So that mean this is 400. And now it's saying what would the perimeter be? Well, the perimeter is just going to be 200 plus 200 plus 400 plus 400. Okay, so that's going to be 400 plus 400 plus 400, which is 1200. Perfect. So that is the answer to the first one, 1200 meters. Now, the next thing it says is the paddock is then split down the middle. The paddock is then split down the middle of the length, parallel to the width, to create two separate areas. What is the total amount of fencing needed? So what I would do here is I would draw it for myself again. They've told me now it's split down the middle, so I'm splitting it there. So if I've now got this new bit of fencing, would you agree that, this is 200, this is 200, this was 400, this was 400, and this new bit of fencing that I've put in, what's the length of that new bit of fencing? Well, hopefully you can identify it's going to be 200. So that means the new perimeter is going to be 1400. So it's going to be 1200 from my original plus an extra 200, which is 1400 meters. And that's going to be my answer to the next one. Then it says, what equation would now represent the total amount of fencing required? So we now need to write an equation that represents the total amount of fencing required. Well, remember, we started off with P is equal to 2L plus 2W, right? So we started with P is equal to 2L plus 2W. And now what we're doing is we're adding in another width, aren't we? Because this here is just like adding in another width. So that means my new perimeter will be 2L plus 3W. That's going to be my answer, 2L plus 3W. Okay, hopefully you were successful with this and you understand how we got each of these answers.